Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. Today I'm going to continue explanation on chapter 2, Introduction to Risk Management. Okay, these are the contents for chapter 2. First, I'm going to explain on meaning of risk management. Second, objectives of risk management. Third, steps in the risk management process. Fourth, benefits of risk management. And lastly, personal risk management. So the learning outcomes of the sector are: first, to examine the concept of risk management. Second, to analyze steps involved in the risk management process. And last one, to examine the benefits of risk management. Okay, meaning of risk management. Before this, in chapter 1, we have already discussed on meaning of risk. Okay, so for chapter 2, we're going to discuss on what is risk management. So risk management. What is risk management? Risk management is all about the identification, assessment and prioritization of risk. Yeah, meaning that you need to identify the risk, and once you identify the risk, you need to assess which one is the most risky to you, and then you need to prioritize based on the levels, based on the hierarchy. Okay, the most risky and the less risky, so you need to prioritize. Okay, which one that you need to overcome first. So, and then it's followed by a coordinated and economical application of resources to minimize, to monitor and control the probability, the likelihood and or impact of unfortunate events. Or is also to maximize the realization of opportunities. Risk is not only about to overcome the disadvantages, but also how to maximize the advantages, the benefits, the opportunities behind whatever actions that we do. So what is the purpose of risk management? The purpose of risk management is to ensure uncertainty does not disrupt, does not disturb, does not give bad impact or effect the purpose of the business goals. So that's why we need to manage the risk. If we're able to manage the risk, we're able to minimize or avoid the risk from happening, and even we're able to maximize the opportunities behind whatever decisions that we do. So risk management. What is risk management? According to Norman Baglini, 1983, he defines risk management as an economic process of allocating a business firm's financial resources in the optimum combination of loss control and loss financing methods to minimize the cost of pure risk. Pure risk is the type of risk that the possibility of loss and break-even may happen. Here we have discussed this in the previous chapter. Okay, second one is Vaughan. Okay, Vaughan 2003 defines risk management is a scientific approach to dealing with risk by anticipating possible accidental losses and designing and implementing procedures that minimize the occurrence of loss or the financial impact of the losses that occurs. So according to Vaughan, it's a scientific approach how to deal with risk. How to deal with risk by anticipating any possibilities, any likelihoods of accidental losses, and once we able to identify the accidental losses, the possibility of losses, we design and implement the procedures how to overcome that. Why? In order to minimize the occurrence of loss or to minimize the financial impact of the losses that occurs. Okay, third one is the definition given by Cumming and Hurtel 2001. They explain risk management as the overall process that a financial institution follows to define a business strategy. Okay, meaning that we need to know what is the objective of identify the risk to which it is exposed. Then once we identify, we need to quantify those risks. Whether this is the most risky or is the less risky. And then to understand and control the nature of risk it faces. So we can see that from the three definitions given by the three scholars or the four scholars, actually all the definitions given are more or less the same. And we can see that the objective of having risk management in a company, in an institution, in an organization, actually is to minimize the loss, to minimize the risk from happening. Okay, so that's the meaning of risk management. Evaluation of risk management. Also, all kinds of businesses faced or had to manage risk in their businesses. Risk management was only recognized as a separate function of business at the beginning of the 20th century. Then major companies like railroads and steel companies started hiring insurance manager to purchase all kinds of insurance for a specific company. However, the responsibilities of this insurance manager does not include or did not include other forms of risk management like risk avoidance, risk reduction, and risk retention. Only in the 1950s did risk management start to appear in the printed literature, as it became increasingly recognized that managing risk was one of the most important functions of a business. Risk management work overwhelmingly concerned with hazard risk and the purchase of insurance. Risk associated with the firm's production processes were managed by human resources. Little consideration was given to how these risks related to each other, not to overall firm value. Then managers have since been under pressure to gain a sophisticated understanding of the risk that their organization faced. Risk management process. Basically, the risk management process involved a 6-step of activities. What are the 6 steps? Okay, first, setting up of risk management policies. Any kind of institutions, companies, corporations, businesses need to set up of risk management policies first. And then they can identify of risk. They identify what kind of risk that they faced, because different companies, they have different nature of risk. So they need to identify the risk first, and then third, they need to evaluate the risk. So the evaluation of risk process happens. After that, after they evaluate the risk, they need to develop a risk management plan to mitigate the risk. That is through risk control and risk balancing mechanisms. So they need to plan what kind of strategies they need to have in order to mitigate the risk, in order to overcome the problems that might happen. And fifth, implementation of the risk management plan. Once they have the strategy already, once they have the way on how to overcome the risk already, so they need to implement the plan. And lastly, when they implement the plan or when they execute the plan, they need to review and monitor of risk management plan. They need to look at the residual risk. Residual risk means the risk that still remain, maintain or still exists in the company. So how do we able to overcome it? After we have already tried to execute the plan before, but if the risk still there, and we unable to avoid the risk and we have to face the risk. So we need to do another cycle of risk management. Yes, setting up risk management process and setting up risk management policies, and then identify the risk. Okay, so these are the cycle, the process. How to overcome the risk, how to manage the risk. I continue with explanation on risk management from Islamic point of view in another video. Thank you.